So something I'm realizing here on YouTube is there's a lot of videos and tutorials on how to hit your first 10K, how to get to 50K, how to get to 100K. But a lot of you haven't even hit your first 1K, right? A lot of you have not hit your first $1,000 through selling your product or your service online, or if you're running the agency model. So what I want to do in this video is give you a simple framework that is honestly so valuable because it's about clarity, right? If you don't know where you're going, you're not going to be able to get there. So use this framework in this video to gain clarity on what it is you want to sell and who do you want to sell it to, right? Who's your target customer and what specific problem are you helping them solve? Before you can get your first customer, you got to have clarity on that, and this activity will help you get that clarity. So hope you guys enjoyed. If you're new here, my name is Hassan. This is Create Alchemy, where I teach organic client acquisition. I've been able to scale an agency to 50K a month, and in the first month of this year, in January, Create Alchemy did $40,000. So just wanted to share that with you guys, just so you know what I'm talking about is not just some made up stuff. I say that in all my videos at this point, but let's dive straight into it. So again, before you get your first paying customer, there's two very important things. The first one is, does the niche or topic you're producing content about, does it actually have a financially viable audience? And what that means is, is the topic or general content that you're producing in an industry where people are ready and willing to spend money, right? If you're in a niche or a category where those kind of people, one, don't have the money or aren't willing to spend money for your solution, then that's not a niche that you want to dive into. And of course, like I said, this activity is going to help you find that clarity for who you're targeting. The next thing is, again, you want to pick something that has high interest. So in the general business ecosystem here on YouTube, right, there's drop shipping, Amazon FBA, social media marketing, YouTube growth, social media growth. There's a lot of different kind of ecosystems within this given or bigger business concept, right? So your offer might not even be related to business. Whatever your offer is related to, right? It could be beauty, and then obviously in beauty there's a couple bigger ecosystems, right? There's a couple segments on YouTube where more content is being produced than others, and you want to make sure that whatever it is that you're going to sell is in an ecosystem that is big enough, right? Has a big enough audience pool and has enough people who would be actually interested in your product, right? That's very important for you guys to succeed and do well, especially if you're selling something high ticket online. So let's dive into this activity, make this super simple and easy for you guys, just to give you massive clarity so that you could literally take what's in this video, start producing content, and then get your first $1,000 client, and then continue to scale from there. Hey guys, I quickly wanted to mention, if you're somebody who's struggling to get clients online, whether you have an agency or you're a creator, there's going to be a link at the top of the description where you can book a free consultation to learn more about how I can help you with organic client acquisition. I have clients doing 100K, 20K, even 10K per month, so it doesn't really matter what level you're at. I have the solution for you, and at the moment right now, for the next 10 people, I'm offering a really crazy deal where it's a combination of personalized coaching and a private exclusive community. It's going to be a first come, first serve basis. So if you're a business owner and you want to add 10 to 100K per month into your business, especially if you have an audience already, then go ahead and apply in the description below. And looking forward to talking to you guys. So something that's going to give you a lot of clarity and something that is overlooked a lot is self-reflection, right? So I have a couple questions here. It's really three main questions. It's an activity that I have all my clients do. Clients who are doing 100K per month, 20K, even 15K per month in different niches here on YouTube and on Instagram as well. So the three questions you want to ask yourself, number one in this self-reflection process is, what are your passions and interests, right? What are three things? And it's as simple as literally writing these three things down. So if you have a pen and paper, take it out and write it down so you could visually see this come to life. So you write down your top three passions and interests, right? These are things that if I had to throw you on a stage in front of 1,000 people and you had to talk about this, you would be able to with ease. Three things that you're actually passionate about. The next question that you want to ask is, what skills or expertise do you possess? So same thing, write down those three skills right under. So at this point, you should have 6 boxes where you've written your top 3 passions and interests and then your top 3 skills or expertise. And the most important part for this second section, right, the second question of expertise and skills, you want to make sure you write something that you're better than most people at. Now, you don't have to be, let's say it's basketball, right? You don't have to be Michael Jordan, but are you better than most people? Do you have enough specialized knowledge about this topic than the average Joe? And if you don't have any skills or you don't have any expertise just yet and you're learning, you can still go ahead and write that because it is something that you are developing. And also think a little bit deeper, right? A lot of you come from, let's say you come from a family that's always been about cars and all things automotive. You will generally have more knowledge about that given topic than the average person. So just dig a little deeper and think about what skills or expertise you possess in your life. Now, the next part of this is really important because this is what's going to dictate what your product or solution becomes when you start selling something here on YouTube, right? When you've created your channel and you're starting to produce content, what specific solution are you going to have? What specific solution can you solve for those people so that you can actually charge money and charge a decent amount of money for that solution? So the next part of this process is based on your passions and skills, you're going to brainstorm 3 potential pain points of your audience, right? The best way to do this and the best way I've found is write down 3 pain points that you've been able to get across yourself, right? What are 3 hurdles in your life that you've been able to jump over? For example, were you really bad at public speaking and then you got over that and you learned some strategies and now you're a great public speaker? Did you have a fear of being on camera? Did you not know how to edit before and then you learned how to edit videos? Whatever pain point in your life that you were able to solve, that is what will go in this next 3 boxes. And the idea behind this is that you'll have one passion and one skill set that are similar to each other that can be solved by overcoming a specific pain point that you've written down. So again, visualizing this should give you a lot of clarity on a potential direction we can go in. And the next part of this is you want to consider how profitable would this be, right? So to give you guys an example of this, let's say you wrote down productivity as something that you were passionate about, and then you wrote down systems for something you have experience in. Let's say you're somebody who's developed a system before, and then for your pain point, you've been able to overcome not being productive, right? And now you're more of a productive person because of, let's say, systems that you've been able to build. So those 3 kind of align, and now you have a direction you could potentially move forward. Now, obviously, guys, this isn't going to be perfect in the beginning, right? You might start producing content and a month in or a couple weeks in, you're like, hey, you know what? I'm not really as passionate as I thought I was about this. Maybe I need to change. And that is completely okay, right? In the beginning, your videos are not going to be getting millions of views. So it's absolutely okay for you to adapt and change your strategy, right? Before your offer is even proven with the content that you're going to be producing, it's going to take some time, right? It's going to take some time for you to really figure out who is the right person for you to sell that high ticket product to. So it takes time. I'm still figuring it out, even at the stage that I'm at, because I'm always learning and I'm always figuring out what do my audience members really want and what is the specific solutions that they need. So again, consider how profitable is this potential idea that you've written down? Is there any potential in terms of audience size? And is there any potential in terms of being able to charge, a high ticket price in that given idea? Okay, section 2, right? The next part of this is to actually do research. So you've come up with an idea. Again, like I said, let's say it's productivity. Now you want to actually take the time to do some market research, right? You want to look up potential creators or business owners who might be selling something that you're interested in selling. And usually a good cue for if idea is going to work is if you have competitors, right? Now, obviously you don't want to do something that's extremely saturated, but usually the markets that are saturated, it's a lot easier to stand out, right? Because there's going to be so many people who are doing the same thing. And all you have to do is develop a unique enough, value proposition for you to stand out and capture even just a small bit of that market share. Could be, 100K per month type of business. A lot of you just don't know how scalable things are, especially with organic content. So it's something you'll learn later on in the future. But again, the goal here is for us to get our first client. And you just want to make sure that there's people out there, there's channels, competitors out there who have or are doing what you want to sell. So analyze the market, right? Figure out who's in your niche, who are potential competitors, what do they charge, what do their offers look like, what's the solution that they're offering, and how can you make that better, right? It's something you want to be able to brainstorm. Like if I look at who my competitors are, it's a couple different categories. I think what I'm selling is very unique, right? It's organic client acquisition. It's systems for business owners and creators to actually bring in clients through their content, through their YouTube channel, etc. And the way I'm selling it is unique because it's not just growth, right? It's not just how to grow and build your YouTube channel. It's also the sales side, it's the client acquisition side, and the product development side. So what made my offer unique is the fact that it encompasses everything that a person could need, and it does it in a way where it's not overwhelming. It's extremely, extremely simple. So that's how I was able to stand out, right? There's, Ali Abdul, there's Dan Ko, a lot of these guys sell like digital marketing slash YouTube courses, but I'm not the biggest fan of courses. I sell a private, exclusive community that isn't cheap, but it's extremely valuable because it gives people those systems and allows them to have a lot more access to me, which is really important because a lot of this is personal and customizable, which is super, super important as you're actually building this. So again, just analyze how profitable could this idea be? Are there people out there already producing content in that given ecosystem that you're potentially considering? Section 3, right, is target audience. This is super important because this is what's going to dictate a lot of the content that you're going to produce, right? So here what we're doing is we're defining our ideal target audience, right? Who are they? What's their demographics, right? How old are they? Where are they? What's the gender? All these things are very important because, in a business like mine, for example, if I wanted to go after people who already have an audience or well-established business owners, the messaging in my videos is going to be very different from, for example, if I'm only teaching beginners and helping beginners start a specific business. Because at the end of the day, like I always say, you don't have to be a YouTube celebrity for this to work, right? 400 subscribers meant $40,000 for me in January. And one of my clients has 7,000 subscribers and in January did $109,000. So you get the power behind having the right audience. So figuring out who that audience is will allow you to be crystal clear on how to attract that individual to watch your specific content. And then once they do, again, just do the numbers, right? You don't need millions of followers or millions of views to make this happen. You just need a couple thousand views per month to the right specific audience. Give them enough value so that they're willing to book a call with you. For example, if you wanted to go down that acquisition route. And again, like I said, let's say you get a video that gets 2,000 views, a couple people book a call, you close one of them, there's your first $1,000, right? It's really as simple as that. And depending on how far you want to scale, we just got to pump up those numbers with the proper content strategy, or we got to soup up and change and fix your sales process, or we got to make your product better. So obviously, like I say in all my videos, there's different levers and different focus points for you to consider as you're building your business. So take out that piece of paper, write down who is it exactly that you want to sell to, right? Their age, their demographics, who is that ideal audience, and then again, what is that specific solution that we could help them with that we've already gotten over in our life? Like I said before, it's about the pain points. What were you able to overcome? And again, because you've been able to overcome that, you could actually help people with that, whether you're doing it in a teaching format or a product or a service. And again, the reason I'm able to teach organic client acquisition and I'm able to sell a service around that is because I figured out how to get clients through content, right? It's my bread and butter. I've been doing it for the last 6 years. So that's why, that hurdle that I was able to jump over, that is why I'm able to help people with that hurdle. So, it's a great analogy, right? What hurdle have you been able to jump over? That's the key here for you to get your first high-paying client and then obviously scale this as far as you would like. And then like I talked about before, right? In the early stages of this process, in the early stages of you fine-tuning your offer, it's going to take some time, right? We got to get some people in the door. We got to get some people watching your content. Do they even resonate with the content? We got to get you on some sales calls, right? A lot of people underestimate how many sales calls it takes to get your first deal, but they also underestimate how many sales calls it takes to really fine tune who it is that you're serving, right? So to give you guys perspective, right, the first month where I did 40K on Create Alchemy, I had a wide range of people get on these calls. I had some business owners, I had some creators, I also had some agency owners. And through getting enough bookings, I was able to find a little bit of clarity on who it is that I truly want to serve with my high ticket offer. So when I would get on these calls, I would listen closely on, what issues did they have in the past with other products, right? That's great because I could learn what not to do, or I could learn what to make sure to do in my own product. So it's a great way to learn about your audience and then a great way to develop and make your product that much better, which is super important, especially with your offer. Obviously the creator economy is only growing. Obviously day by day, these kinds of businesses are going to be popping up everywhere. So you want to make sure you stand out by really listening to the pain points of your audience. So in the process of giving out free consultations where people can come ask me questions and then I could offer and pitch my product, what you're really doing here is finding out what their problems are, right? And figuring out how to best handle that and structure that. And that's really where the money's going to come from, right? Again, if you could solve a specific problem, you can make an unlimited amount of money, especially if it's for the right audience and if it's a big enough problem, right? Getting clients into a business is a huge problem, and that's why my offer is doing so well. But from a grander scale, this can be done in so many different industries and niches, and that's why this activity is so important. It's for you to kind of get that clarity on the direction you want to go in, because you don't want your content to be all over the place. You don't want your offer to not be clear, because people want clarity, people want systems. They don't want to be confused. They're already overwhelmed, and they're coming to you to seek that clarity. And this next point is super important. If you've watched up until this point, that's amazing, because you'll be able to actually hear this. But just like in marketing, how there's a process of testing different creatives, testing short form content is the name of the game, right? So you can actually validate your ideas or your niche and all the things that you're developing from this video through posting on short form platforms like TikTok and Instagram Reels, right? You could test various hooks, you could test various offerings and ideas, and just share that with the world and watch how people interact and engage, right? If you're not getting a lot of engagement and the concept isn't working, and this is especially powerful if you already have an audience, right? You already have a base of people where you can kind of test and validate ideas. So posting content will not only validate your niche and validate the product you potentially want to build, but it'll also just give you clarity on what's the most effective and what people are genuinely seeking the most. So again, guys, the process is simple. Start posting content once you've figured out the direction you want to go in based on this activity. Test and learn, test and learn. Get on sales calls, learn from the actual people in your audience, and just continuously iterate and make that offering and make that product better. But through this process alone, whether it takes a month or 3 months, you can absolutely make your first $1,000. But in my opinion, you can make a lot more, especially if you really lock in and provide a lot of value in your content. Again, I have complete beginners who start this process and they do 10K their first month, and not to set your expectations in the wrong way, right? Because this is a process. There are multiple levels and nuances that you have to kind of overcome first, right? If you've never posted a video, then that's obviously step one. If you're afraid to be on camera, that's your step one. But for some of you, you already have an audience, and leveraging these concepts will allow you to make a lot of money from YouTube, so you don't have to rely on just AdSense, for example. So hope you guys found this valuable. Go get that first client, go post content, let people know about what you're offering, and there's no doubt that you can't get your first client through this process. Hope you guys found this valuable. Let me know down in the comments below if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next one.